Hi, Will from Sound on Sound here at the Summer NAMM show in Nashville, again with Trevor from Sontronics. Trevor.
Hello again.
Hello again. What do we have here? Because this looks very familiar. What's different about the Mercury?
Indeed, it is familiar. In fact, the same microphone that graced the front cover of your Dear magazine recently. This microphone, the Mercury, we launched in 2017 at Winter NAMM, and was a labour of love to create something that was really made from the best components we could get our hands on. And it won many awards and had a stunning review in your own magazine, and so it's really become a special go-to microphone for a lot of professionals and a lot of aspiring musicians professionals. Mm-hmm. And me being me, I just thought, well look, okay, is there anything else that we can do to refine it further? I mean, is there anything? And being a valve microphone, or tube microphone here in the States, the one thing I noticed is that looking around, people are very passionate about the valves themselves. They can elicit an incredible tone and quality to a valve amplifier, a guitar amplifier, for example. People spec specific valves and they hanker after those, and they're very rare, some of these NOS or new old stock valves. Mm-hmm. And those are basically valves which have been stored, and often military specification, field radios and that sort of thing. Yeah. They're kept in cupboards and warehouses, and the military own those things, and they were from decades ago. And so I thought, well look, what happens? We're a British brand, British microphone, so the kind of archetypal British valve is the Mullard. And so I got a stock of Mullard valves in, very specific. This uses a 12AT7, the Mullard reference is an M8162. And I was able to locate a very limited stock of these. We got about 105 pieces, of which just over 70 were quiet enough to be used in the application for a microphone. Old valves tend to be a little noisier, a little hissier. Sure. You know, anyone that owns a vintage Neumann, for example, with no disrespect to them, they will confirm that their mic is probably a little louder in self-noise than they'd like, but it's got that character and classic tone once you're using it. Mm-hmm. Now, this Mercury was always and has been well known for being incredibly quiet. Again, for a valve mic, it's superb in that level. But I was concerned what an old tube or valve might do to that. But the ones that we found or that were located for us were super quiet, and they had actually an incredible characteristic. What they have is that on the low end, when they're pushed hard, so when you're really singing or really playing an electric guitar cabinet, for example, right, when you're really giving it some, the natural compression that happens in a valve, it kind of, you can feel it sort of puff out almost like it's in a padded cell almost. You can hear this really gentle but sort of dense compression. And the top end just silky, and it's just a little bit different to the standard stock JJ electronic valve that we use from Slovakia. And so we managed to put these things into the market. It's called the Mercury VE Vintage Edition. Okay. We have currently very, very few remaining. We managed to sell some without even advertising it. The word got out that we'd got these, and immediately we're down to about 20 valves remaining at this moment. Our supplier who got us the original stock is now looking for another run of them, and desperately so. But yeah, we are looking, it looks like we've got some more coming, about another 200 pieces secured. Again, all ex-military spec. Anything between 35 and 50 years old. So these themselves, okay, you know, it's to own something unique and really special. One question that people do ask, and a very valid one, is that what happens when that valve runs out? And these valves are all tested to have at least 80% emissions, which means they'll last for a good, it's around 50,000 hours of use, which is a lifetime's use.
Exactly,
but yeah. Let's say the valve does give up the ghost sooner, then the standard valve, the JJ electronic, will fit, and the mic will perform just as you'd expect anyway. But that's just a little side issue, just in case people were worried what happens to the mic in the future.
Of course. And so for people who maybe don't know the Mercury so well, can you give us just a top level? What's the operating principle? What's the pattern?
Absolutely. Well, this microphone was designed as a kind of go-to, an all-rounder. The idea being that when we launched the Aria, the cardioid condenser, cardioid condenser but tube microphone is cardioid only, and the idea was just for vocals. And this became a real standard for us, a big flag bearer. And the key here was that this was made with really high quality components. You know, capacitors and resistors that were running at sort of 5% tolerances compared to the 10s that we would normally use. So it made a huge difference. So I thought, well, what happens if we really up-spec that and we put 1% components inside Mercury?
Right.
So what you have is utter precision. And this microphone is a variable pattern controller, so an infinite control between omni through cardioid to figure of 8, and everywhere in between. So you have incredibly fine control over the polarity of the capsules, dual capsule front and back. So when you're looking at the thing as an omni microphone, you have a perfect sphere of pickup. When it's in figure 8, you have a perfect null on the side axes, but then absolutely symmetrical polarities front and back. So especially as a stereo pair, and in fact we've sold many of these microphones as a matched stereo pair. They are so precise, we can actually match these things to within half a decibel, which is astonishing. So that, I mean, you just can't hear any difference at all. But as a stereo pair, absolute precision. So that's what the mic's all about. It's a go-to microphone. It's below £2,000 UK. It's just under $2,000 US. One assumes it's closer to being affordable than a big vintage retro microphone.
And that's the price point for the VE then, is it?
The VE model is a little more expensive. In fact, the UK price of Mercury is 1,349. The vintage model is £100 more, so 1,449. In the US, we are $19.99 for the regular and $23.49 for the Mercury VE.
Okay, great. And available now, the VE?
Available, ready to go right now.
Splendid.
Grab
Thanks.
them while you can.
Cheers, Trevor.
Thank you very much.